Hi friends, we are here this morning at Kentucky Kingdom, which is extra special for me because I'm actually from Kentucky and this is my original home park.
I'm excited to see where you spent some of your childhood, but in all the times that we've come to Kentucky together, we haven't been here, so I'm excited to experience a new park today.
Yeah, and I have not been here in a long time. This park probably looks very different than it did last time I was here.
True.
Because when I was growing up, the first time that I came here was in 1999 when this was Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom. Since then, it has gone through a change of ownership multiple times, and it's now run by Herschend.
Which I'm very excited about because Herschend runs Silver Dollar City and Dollywood, which are two exceptional theme parks. I'm obviously not quite expecting that level back here, but...
Yes, the Herschend has only had this park for, I think, 4 years.
Yeah, but it kind of is like exciting for what the future holds for this place, really, right?
100%. They've poured a ton of investment, I believe $25 million over the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
Into refurbishing a lot of areas of the park. And this year there is a brand new Vekoma suspended family coaster called Flying Fox, which I don't want to say is the main reason we're here today, but definitely a huge draw to the park. It looks great.
Yeah, and those new Vekoma family inverted coasters are so smooth. I love riding those, so I'm excited for that. And I also saw that there's an RMC here, and I love RMCs.
Yes, the park has 6 roller coasters. I believe there's only 2 remaining from my childhood. So it's gonna be a lot of really fun new stuff for us to experience today. I can't wait to get in there and try it all out.
Yeah, let's go do it. Hello. Thank you.
Wow, well this is just like a blast from the past for me. Here we are at the new front entrance. I love this new rockwork and water fountain they've installed. Now, when I first came here back in 1999, when this was Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom, Elevator, the original Intamin Generation 2 drop tower, was right here, later known as Superman Tower of Power, and we won't get into the details of that. However, so awesome to be back at my original home park, Kentucky Kingdom. Now, I can see the brand new for 2026 roller coaster, Flying Fox, is just in this direction, and typically we'd be able to head that way. It looks like maybe the park is not quite finished with that area for now, but fingers crossed they will be finishing it up soon. We're gonna head this direction, and I'll share more about the park's history with you as we make our way to the rides. Kentucky Kingdom has quite the history. It originally opened in 1987. After a single season, it went bankrupt, and then it was purchased by someone that many of you may have heard of before, named Ed Hart, who really turned the park around. He poured investment into it to the point where in 1998, Premier Parks purchased Kentucky Kingdom and turned it into Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom, where it operated until 2009. Obviously, you know, lots of businesses did not survive, and Kentucky Kingdom was one of them post the 2008 financial crisis. So the park sat dormant for years. Six Flags moved some of the most prominent coasters that Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom was known for, like Chang, the large B&M stand-up coaster, which went to Six Flags Great Adventure as Green Lantern and was recently demolished. So RIP my original major B&M. Fast forward 5 years, Ed Hart comes back into the picture, picks up Kentucky Kingdom again, and turns the trajectory of the park around once again with the addition of the Lightning Run coaster, adding a ton of stuff to the water park, Kentucky Flyer, and today, here we are, Kentucky Kingdom is a Herschend park. Now, I've been using the terms owned and operated by interchangeably, and things get a little complicated when it comes to the way that Kentucky Kingdom is set up, because the park sits on land that is owned by the Kentucky State Fair Board. When we were driving in, I pointed out to Kieran how the parking lot is shared with the Kentucky Exposition Center. I mean, actually, the Kentucky State Fair takes place in Kentucky Kingdom's parking lot. The land at this point is not owned by Herschend, and I guess the park itself isn't owned by Herschend. The operating rights were purchased by Herschend in 2021. Right now, we are walking through the original section of the park. Kentucky Kingdom is split into two halves that are located on either side of a road, giving it a really strange layout that we'll show you a little more of later. But we are headed for our first ride, which is the brand new Flying Fox, and I cannot wait to see how this area has come along.
Right now, it looks like Kentucky Kingdom is celebrating a festival called Floral Frenzy. One thing we know about Herschend parks is that they put a lot of emphasis into park beautification, making the place look just as pretty as possible with lots of beautiful flowers and landscaping and rock work. And it looks like that effect is already taking place here.
You know, Dollywood does a similar festival. I'm not sure at what time of year, but this feature that you can see above us here with all the fun colored leaves reminds me of the Dollywood umbrellas that they have hanging over the main midway. This area of the park used to be Looney Tunes Movie Town. I'm not exactly sure what the theme is at this point, but obviously still the kids area. And I see a lot of familiar rides that I did when I was 6 years old, so that's fun. Now, obviously, we've talked about how Herschend has just added a new roller coaster. They've put on this fun flower festival, but the most important addition that Herschend has brought to Kentucky Kingdom, cinnamon bread. With that said, we're going to Silver Dollar City in 2 days. We can try them both.
For those out of the loop, the cinnamon bread is served warm, it's gooey, it's doughy. There's something that's just so good about it. They serve it at Dollywood. It's the only place I've had it so far, and it is an absolute must. So I think Daniel's right. We might be hitting up this bakery later. Daniel has been speaking with the team members up here, and I fear he has some bad news for us.
Okay, well, the good news is that here we are at Flying Fox, and it looks fantastic. The bad news is that we will not be riding it today because they confirmed it 100% will not be opening due to maintenance issues.
No.
Yes. On the bright side, they did say at 1 o'clock they are going to move that barrier back so we can get some nice footage and show you what would have been. They're also doing a courtesy for us today. They said anyone who's here to ride Flying Fox can stop by Guest Relations and grab a ticket to return in the future. So we'll definitely take them up on that offer. On the bright side, again, it's Kieran's first time at Kentucky Kingdom, so we've got a lot more to explore and show you all. In fact, if I remember correctly, my favorite coaster currently in this park that I've ridden is right behind us. It is Lightning Run, so let's head over to check that out instead. Lightning Run debuted with the reopening of Kentucky Kingdom in 2014, and it's a Chance Hyper GTX coaster, the only one of its kind currently. Another similar coaster is coming to a Mattel park in Phoenix, Arizona, hopefully soon. But it's essentially Chance's answer to the Intamin Megalight. It's a small but mighty coaster with a 100-foot 80-degree first drop. It tops out at 55 miles per hour. It's 2,500 feet long, and it has 9 airtime hills. Whoa. And these are, well, not to spoil it for you, but pure ejector airtime hills.
Hey, awesome. I can't wait for that.
Yes. This is the kind of ride that packs a big punch in a small package. I'm excited to see what you think.
Yeah, me too.
We are here early, which means no lines at all.
My sadness from not being able to ride Flying Fox has disappeared because that was amazing.
Yeah.
I might just call it like the sleeper hit of the trip. I had no idea what we were in store for, and that thing really blew me away. That first drop was incredible. Then it's like quite a tight layout with like really, really good airtime all the way through. And I assume it's like, what, when did you say it opened?
In 2014, so
okay.
12 years old.
Yeah, I thought from how it looked, I thought it was going to be riding rough, but wow, it rides really smooth.
Well, it's funny you say that because the track is unlike modern traditional steel roller coaster track. It looks like what aerodynamics would be making today because the wheel assemblies sit inside the track as opposed to on the exterior of the rails. So you probably saw it and thought, oh, this is going to ride like an aero steel coaster.
That's exactly it. That is exactly what was going in my head.
But instead, it rides like a butter smooth steel coaster.
Yeah, really fantastic. And I thought there was a couple of moments where the track kind of crosses over with other parts of the track and it gives you a good head chopper effect.
Not only a good head chopper, but it's really the way that the track twists and turns, you have no idea what is coming next. In fact, I unfortunately slammed my hand into Kieran's head at one point because the track looks like you're about to turn to the right and suddenly you twist to the left and dip down under another piece of track.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so good. I want to ride it again, maybe if we have time later, but we got other coasters to ride.
Oh, that's funny because I was going to say, we have plenty of time, there's no line, let's do it right now.
Maybe we should.
Let's do it.
Okay, we are indeed going back for round 2, but Daniel says we're going to come back later on to ride it because once those wheels have warmed up, she might be running even crazier.
Yes, I'd say right now we got some solid flow ejector airtime. If my memory serves me correctly, and if the wheel compounds haven't changed, this thing in the afternoon flies.
I'm a big fan of 1950s and 60s car design, and these trains are kind of reminiscent of that with their really long hoods. It's pretty cool.
Yes, love this train design. And did you notice anything interesting about the lap bars?
There were shin guards.
There are shin guards, which unfortunately I'd say is like the biggest criticism of this coaster. Those shin guards are unfortunately not the most comfortable. However, these restraints are very similar, if not identical, to early RMC restraints.
Oh.
In fact, this coaster really feels like, again, a combination of a modern aero, if that was a thing, an RMC and an Intamin Megalite. Like, yeah, that's like, this is the baby of those three things. All right, second ride down, this time in the front row. What do you think?
I thought it was excellent again. Prefer the back certainly, but yeah, very, very good. You said there's only one of these made, which is like criminal. How is there not more of these everywhere?
It doesn't make any sense. It was built, in 2014 for $7 million. I don't know how much that is today, but still a lot less than most major coasters.
Yeah.
And it just, again, packs such a punch. It's so fun.
Yeah, and it's so compact that you could pick this up and plop this down in basically any park, anywhere.
And again, in the front, super smooth. One thing about this coaster that I'm not sure I've said about a lot of other coasters is that it plays so well with levels. Like the first drop, 100 feet, you dive all the way to ground level. Then there is this probably 70-foot tall camelback, which is an amazing element. I mean, that thing just shoots you into the stratosphere. Then you go through a hammerhead turn. Then for the rest of the ride, it's not like you start at ground level, go up, and then come back down to ground level. You are like rising up and then descending not as far, and then you're twisting to the side, and then you're dropping back down to the ground, and then there's these low to the ground S-curves, and then the ride has this really fun airtime buffet finale with these 3.5 ejector airtime hills. Oh gosh, it's just pure bliss.
So good. As you might be able to see from the spots on our shirts, unfortunately, it is starting to rain. There's a bit of rain in the forecast, so...
Fingers crossed that at least means the crowds are gonna stay away,
True.
and hopefully the coasters will continue to run in the rain.
Yeah.
As I briefly mentioned before, Kentucky Kingdom is split into the original side of the park and then the expansion side of the park that is cut in half by this road. Now, I have seen that there are plans to remove this, but it's just such a weird layout for an amusement park. But on the bright side, we get some great views of Lightning Run from here. Back in the Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom days, we would be looking right here at Grease Lightning, which was the last coaster installed at Kentucky Kingdom before it closed down. And it was a classic Schwarzkopf shuttle loop with a weight drop launch. Originally, it opened at Six Flags Great America as Tidal Wave, then it was relocated to Six Flags Over Georgia as Viper, finally ending its life here at Kentucky Kingdom as Grease Lightning.
All right, now we're emerging on the other side of the bridge and coming up on what looks like a huge water park, and it's also where all the other coasters are, so it's going to be where we're going to be spending probably the rest of our day out here.
Other than that re-ride on Lightning Run. But yes, this is Hurricane Bay, which is obviously a huge draw to Kentucky Kingdom. Now, this view looks very different than last time I was here because since the mid-90s, the prototype Vekoma suspended looping coaster, or SLC for short, was called T2 and then later in its life T3, and it's set right back there in that corner kind of by itself once Kentucky Kingdom reopened in its new form. They removed it a couple seasons ago, RIP, or actually not rest in peace because that thing was absolutely awful. We're now making our way over to Kentucky Flyer, passing the park's giant wheel, which is a 150 feet tall Ferris wheel that was installed back in 1992 and is the icon of Kentucky Kingdom. And interestingly, Kentucky Kingdom is only a mile from Louisville's airport. So 150 feet is gonna be about as tall as any attraction can be here at Kentucky Kingdom. I know Chang used to sit over in this area that is now occupied by Kentucky Flyer and the water park. That was, I believe, 154 feet tall. Obviously, we're not gonna see a B&M Hyper here. That's okay, the park has plenty of airtime focused rides. But speaking of airtime, we are making our way over to the Kentucky Flyer, which is a Gravity Group Junior wooden coaster. It's 47 feet tall, 35 miles per hour, 2,300 feet long, and in that short layout, it packs in 12 airtime moments. It opened back in 2019 and was a really great addition to the park. However, if you haven't noticed yet, Kentucky Kingdom has a bizarre layout. This ride sits on the outer edge of the park, and other than the Junior Star Flyer, there's no other traditional theme park rides over here. So I'm not sure what the grand plan is for the park, but fingers crossed, something can be done to attract more people over into this area so that Kentucky Flyer doesn't just have to sit by itself. Kieran, there's no wait for deep water dive. Do you bring your swim trunks?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be skipping that one today.
Lame. Well, fun fact, when this opened, it was actually the tallest water slide in America. It has one of those drop pods at the top, and it's 121 feet tall, making it 1 feet taller than Summit Plummet at Disney's Blizzard Beach. I have had a chance to ride this, and it is the most utterly terrifying thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, I agree. I will happily ride the tallest roller coaster in existence, but the tallest water slide definitely makes me nervous.
Yeah. Well, everyone should do it at least once, but maybe just once. Now, this coaster does run Timberliners, which are honestly super comfortable until the ride starts. If you've ridden Hades 360, you know what I mean. But hopefully, given this is a junior roller coaster, it'll be riding much better with its Timberliners. So let me start off by saying I was here the opening week of this ride, and I didn't think the Timberliners tracked the best on it, but it was still fun. And I'm happy to report, I thought this was going to feel rattly as heck today. I thought it was running really well. I had a fun time.
Me, on the other hand, I thought that was pretty rough, honestly. So
I guess it's, again, an expectations versus reality sort of situation.
Yeah, rough, but I had a good time on it still. I thought there was plenty of airtime moments.
Yeah, Gravity Group is able to pack so many fun hills into these junior wooden coaster layouts.
Yeah.
And this is just another example of that. I've done Wooden Warrior at Quasi in Pennsylvania. That's probably my favorite one of them, but this is right up there. The ride operator couldn't stop talking about how this was her favorite ride, and I totally see why. It's something the entire family can enjoy.
Yeah, it's good.
Again, I'm not a fan of Timberliners at all. With that said, I do appreciate how the lap bar just locks in place and doesn't fall on you throughout the ride. So if you have a little bit of room, then you really do get popped up over all of those hills, which is so fun.
You don't like the Timberliner trains for like how the train rides on the track, right? Because like the comfortability, is that the word? I find them quite comfortable. It's quite convenient that you can like pull that big bar across and it's like a nice big thing to hug. And
no, if I had one sitting in my living room, then I would find it perfectly comfortable.
Okay.
But the way that, I guess the trains are just so light that it just feels like they're constantly shuffling back and forth because of the small tolerances that are built into the trains.
I see.
I do think I'm a fan of Kentucky Flyer, especially the first drop. I think it's like 52 degrees. So a 44-foot drop at 52 degrees on a family coaster.
Good time.
Solid. I will say we rode in the front row and the back row. Personally, I preferred the back. Even though the views were fun in the front, I liked being pulled over the drops in the back row.
100% agree. Back row ride.
And everyone on the train that we rode with, as soon as the train parked, hopped up and ran down the stairs, ran around, and got back in line. So obviously, this is a crowd pleaser.
I really love the setting of this park. Generally, all the parks in the Midwest, it's just so different to anything that we have in LA. In LA, we have like, you know, deserty, it's kind of a little barren, but here, everything is so lush, and I really love coming out to the Midwest. I'm just noticing that they have Discovery Meadow here, which, if I remember correctly, is like their new kids area, right? And it's kind of like Wildwood Grove at Dollywood, but like the light version, maybe not quite as beautiful, quite as many trees.
Yeah, I'd say a lower budget than Dollywood's. And I think there are some thrill rides in there too, but definitely like along the same lines when it comes to the theme.
I am loving the theming of the Bayou Cafe or Swamp Water Jacks, whatever it's called. But yeah, looks really good. Is this Herschend or is this old?
No, this was here when Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom was here, actually. I'm surprised that they kept the Swamp Water Jack's name. Speaking of remnants of the old park, this brick facade right here reminds me that in the, I guess, mid-90s to early 2000s, there was a flat ride here called Quake. That was a Vekoma Waikiki wave, which is essentially like, imagine a Huss top spin, except the arms of the ride could move in different directions, so the gondola would like move back and forth. With that said, almost every time I passed by it, the ride was stuck in this position and had to be evacuated. I think I got to ride it one time. The ride cycle was quite mild, but it was like such a unique ride. It had this crazy roaring sound. So it was called Quake, like earthquake, but it sounded like a tornado. I loved it.
This area that we're walking into now is really beautiful. Wow, like look at this incredibly well-themed building. Are we in the new area?
You know, we must be. I mean, there was no sign or like entry arch to notify us that we were entering into Discovery Meadow or Discovery Meadows, but this must be it.
This is gonna be it.
Because I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the color scheme that they've gone with.
Okay, Daniel tells me that this drop tower is the same one that is at Knoebels, so I am very excited to ride this because I absolutely love that one at Knoebels. It is crazy.
Yes, this is a Larson drop tower. It was previously already at Kentucky Kingdom in the very front of the park, up where Flying Fox is now, but when they redid this area as Discovery Meadow, they moved it here and renamed it Treetop Drop. But yes, I absolutely love these drop towers. Can't wait to ride it. Shoo, my blood is pumping. How about yours?
Yeah, that was just as crazy as I remember, maybe even a little crazier. It's like drop towers, normally I feel like you have that initial feeling of like it dropping and then it slows. But this just feels like it gets faster and faster and faster. And like I was really well and truly lifted up out of my seat. Like it was the most airtime I've gotten anything today.
No, totally. These Larson drop towers have so much going for them. First of all, they have that very slow rise where you get a great view all over Kentucky Kingdom. Usually drop towers will hold you at the top and then release you. No, on these, you get to the top and it immediately drops like a rock. And as you can see, the brakes on this drop tower start pretty close to the ground. So this particular tower is 129 feet tall, and I'd say that, you know, a full 100 feet of that is pure free fall, and gosh, it's awesome.
So good. Definitely doing this again before we leave. So I'm guessing you two might be some of the inhabitants of Discovery Meadow?
Yes, my name is Robin Bloom. I take care of all the plants and the animals here in the meadow. And this is my best friend, Scout the squirrel.
Oh my gosh, Scout, you are so cute.
Kieran is actually from New Zealand where they don't have squirrels. So Scout might be the first squirrel that Kieran's ever met.
I'm so excited to meet you.
And he's the nicest squirrel you'll ever meet.
I believe it. Now, Scout, are you a little nuts?
He might not admit that himself.
I wouldn't either.
I did pack the ponchos.
Oh, great. You'll be able to ride. I'll record you.
Actually, maybe we don't have time.
I think, actually, we're doing great on time. Let's get in line.
No. We've got RMCs to ride.
So the bird most synonymous with Louisville, Kentucky is the cardinal, because it's the mascot of University of Louisville. And this is a brand new, looking at least, flat ride for kids. And it's so cute. Look at these cute little red bird cardinals.
Everywhere around the park, they are promoting the new Flying Fox roller coaster. It's taunting us.
At this point, we have walked through almost all of Discovery Meadow on our way back to Wind Chaser. And let me just say, as someone who grew up with this park, this is exactly what needed to be done with this area for, decades. It's beautiful and just full of lively attractions that there's tons of people back here. Well, it's a light crowd day, but the majority of the crowd at the park is back in Discovery Meadow. Whereas previously, this was just like barren blacktop with one or two rides sprinkled in on your way back to this coaster. So now, it feels like a full-fledged area rather than just a desolate path on the way to the RMC. Wind Chaser is an RMC iBox hybrid that opened in 2016, but it actually began its life well before that when Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom opened it in 1998 as a set of dueling Custom Coasters International wooden coasters called Twisted Sisters, Stella and Lola. Now, a few years later, it changed its name to Twisted Twins because the band Twisted Sister threatened to sue the park. But then in 2007, before Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom closed permanently, The park closed Twisted Twins because, again, this whole area was just completely desolate and separate from anything else anyone wanted to do. So it sat shuttered and dilapidating for years before Ed Hart was like, hey, let's bring in RMC, let's rip out Stella, and we will redo Lola as a crazy hybrid steel coaster. It's 100 feet tall, 52 miles per hour. It has a barrel roll first drop, which means it takes riders upside down as they're falling down that 100 feet. It has a couple of really great camelbacks. Then it has a separate zero-G roll, which brings it to 2 total inversions. However, there are 2 very overbanked turns on the ride, one of which must be somewhere like 130 degrees banked. So some people might consider that an inversion. If memory serves me correctly, this is not one of my favorite RMCs. In fact, I think I might have it ranked second to last, probably because it is on the shorter side at 2,744 feet long, I believe. And the second half of the ride has a lot of really quick, what I would call RMC Heimlich maneuvers, where it just kind of like throws you into your lap bar. So, hey, who knows? That was early on in its life. Maybe it's really broken in and rides differently now. I'm excited to ride it again, see what I think, see what Kieran thinks. Let's go ride. Okay, Wind Chaser, formerly known as Storm Chaser. Kieran, what do you think?
Well, before we got on, you were talking about how like it's a lower tier RMC, so I wasn't really expecting all that much. But then after we do that barrel roll first drop and into that crazy airtime camelback, I was like, what is Daniel talking about? And then I was like, okay, maybe this is where it like quietens down. But then we went into all these other crazy airtime filled elements. And yeah, the pacing was fantastic. The airtime was great. I just had a blast.
Okay, yes, I will give that to you for sure. It is absolutely running so much better than last time I was here.
Okay.
I mean, when I first rode this, like coming around that final turn up into the brakes, it felt like the train might not make it up the hill.
Oh,
this
okay.
time we flew into the brakes.
Yeah.
And it was flying around the whole layout. But no, I totally agree. That first sequence of elements is so good. That barrel roll first drop into the camelback, as you said, I mean, there's just hardly a better element on a roller coaster, in my opinion, than a large camelback.
Yeah.
And RMC does it right. But I do stand by what I said before, which is that when you reach the finale of the ride, it's just a bunch of super quick pops of ejector, but again, more like receiving the Heimlich maneuver. It just thrusts you forward in your seat. And for me, I don't find that very enjoyable. Pretty much you have to ride it defensively or you're gonna get the crap beat out of you. Now, I'm someone who loves intense coasters. Like, when I think of my favorite rides, they are El Toro, Sky Rush, Intimidator 305, Falcon's Flight, but what all of those coasters have is some finesse. This coaster and a lot of the early RMCs are missing that element of finesse. And so I think that's why this still ranks near the bottom of RMCs for me, even though it's running great.
I think it's kind of funny how you said that like it's an aggressive coaster, which it is. And I just realized that this is still technically in Discovery Meadows. and like it has little cute beehives around the place, and its mascot is a little cute owl, and all the colors are pastel. So it like leads you into thinking it's going to be like a fun, gentle ride, but then it's this aggressive RMC. It's just kind of funny. So we just stumbled across some fellow enthusiasts here at Kentucky Kingdom, Gladys and Mallory. They are visiting here from Belgium.
Yes.
What do you think of Kentucky Kingdom so far?
It's a familiar park, but it's great, and it's great RMC.
Yes, yes.
RMC are the best computer ever.
Yeah, we agree.
And in Walibi, Belgium, in 2 years, we will be an RMC.
Yes, the newest one just announced. They're replacing, I'm going to say it wrong, Garou? Werewolf. But that looks incredible. Now, how do you think that is going to stack up against Wind Chaser?
I think it will be better than that.
I think you're probably right. Now, these guys, do you all have a channel as well called Action Attraction?
Facebook page.
Amazing. And it's Action Attraction.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, make sure that you guys go give Action Attraction a follow.
Thank you.
You all have so much fun.
Thank you.
As we make our way back towards the front of the park from Wind Chaser, we are going through Discovery Meadow again, and I did get my wish that the park relocated a lot of the existing flat rides. I saw, I believe it's a Huss swinging ship and the Huss breakdance that used to be up in the front, where Flying Foxes now are back here with new color schemes, new names. They look great. Nature's Bounty and Seed Spinner. That's funny. And oh my gosh, what I'm most excited about is that the park did preserve and refurbish the Flying Dutchman ride, which is an Intamin flat that actually began its life at Kings Island, funny enough, until it was relocated here to Kentucky Kingdom in 1991. And it looks so cute. They have painted them with these cute little wooden Dutch shoes. Amazing. Great job, Herschend and Kentucky Kingdom. I love to see it.
All the attractions here at Discovery Meadow have a similar type of sign. It's the same font, the same style, and while it's cute, I've come to decide that I wish that each ride had its own individual identity.
I don't really mind it for the flat rides and the restaurants, you know, to show some like continuity across the land, cohesion across the land. With that said, for the major coasters like Woodland Run, Wind Chaser, even Holly Hawk and Roll, if that's what it's called, I just really feel like they should have their own like definitive style sign.
Yeah, visual identity.
Definitely, exactly. Woodland Run is a traditional wooden coaster that opened in 1990 as Thunder Run. It's a Curtis and Din coaster, which those designers don't have the best reputation, but obviously some people must have loved this layout because it was copied for the Hurler clones at Paramount's Carowinds and King's Dominion 3 years later. It's 90 feet tall, 53 miles per hour, 2,850 feet long, and Gravity Group has been working with the park to retrack and maybe even reprofile some of this coaster over the last few years. I haven't ridden this in 2 decades, so I'm really excited to get back on it and see how it's running. Fingers crossed it's running well.
Great. Entrance gates are about to open,
Well,
so if you still have
The seats look extra padded, so that's good. And it's a walk-on.
For everything, with the only exceptions being glass is secured by a sports strap.
Okay, we just got off Woodland Run, formerly known as Thunder Run, and I can tell from our reactions, the looks on our faces when we hit the brake run, that we're probably gonna have 2 different things to say about this ride. Yeah. Maybe. What do you think, Kieran?
Well, I was kind of gritting my teeth through the roughness. There were some good forces in the beginning, but I thought the second half was pretty lackluster, not much going on there. Yeah, it was just it was meh. It was a wooden roller coaster that I am in no hurry to ride again.
Okay, well, I think you had some fair criticisms there.
Okay.
But you know, he just rode it for the first time, whereas I'm comparing it to what it was before.
Sure.
And what I remember before is that it ran very rough. I actually think with all the track work that Gravity Group has put into it recently, that it was running relatively quite well. Especially, well, it's funny, I heard the ride operator tell the train before us as it was leaving, enjoy your ride on Wilderness Run, which is mostly left turns. And she is right. It's pretty much left turn, lift hill, left turn, drop, left turn, hill, hill, left turn, hill, left turn, hill.
Yeah.
And then the brakes. But those big turns that you take at super high speeds, I remember being pretty rough. This time, I thought they ran around them pretty quick and smooth. A little shuffle, but pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Also, to those of us who pay close attention to detail for roller coasters, a major change that has been made is that Gravity Group has made that first drop even steeper than it was before. And then following the first drop, there's now a little speed hill. Kieran said that...
Yeah, I didn't notice that at all. I mean, Daniel told me it was coming, and so I was looking for it, but I mean, I felt a little something, but I was expecting like a whoa, but it was just a whoa.
Well, previously you dropped down, it was just straight track into the bank turn. Now you get a little pop of airtime.
Little baby pump.
I thought it was fun. And then after the first major turn, you enter what is by far the best section of the ride, which is 3 airtime hills in a row. And those are really solid.
Yeah, those are good, definitely.
Then you enter the long, far turnaround. And at that point, I agree, the layout gets a little more boring. There's a couple hills and a couple turns taken at medium speed, so you get some slight uplift forces and maybe some slight laterals, but not too much going on. Overall, it falls right in the middle of the lineup for me, obviously below Lightning Run and Wind Chaser, and then above Kentucky Flyer and...
That's questionable for me, honestly. I think I might take Kentucky Flyer over this.
Hey, well, different strokes. We love opinions. This is one of the very first roller coasters I ever rode after the Beastie at Kings Island. So for nostalgic purposes, I was hoping to ride it today. Kieran's not too sad because he's not as much of a credit whore as I am, but gosh, doesn't this look so cute with its new purple color scheme? I love it.
Oh my gosh, Daniel, look. I think we have discovered the Discovery Meadow sign.
Wow, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, wow.
This is actually amazing. I guess they didn't have the budget to put this in 2 places.
Yeah.
And I understand because, you know, this is quite the set. But this is interesting, Kieran, that this sign is located here because earlier I was talking about how this park is separated by a road. Before you had to cross the bridge to get from one side of the park to the other. Now they have 2 people staffed to stop traffic so that pedestrians can walk from the new side of the park to the older side of the park.
Convenient?
Convenient, but weird. Weird. Woo! Before we head out of Discovery Meadow, we are going to take one more ride on the treetop drop tower, and then we'll head back to the front of the park. Whew!
That is exhilarating.
Insane! This time we did #the method, which if you missed our Kings Island video is where you close your eyes, put your hands out, tilt your head down, and lift your feet out. And it just really works so well on especially drop towers and hypercoasters.
I think I figured out what is so good about these drop towers is that like it slams you back down. Usually you're kind of eased into the brakes a little bit, but this like you bang, you hit the chair.
100%. Now, Kieran, fun fact that I did not say earlier. I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but actually a couple years ago, Larson and RMC merged. So technically, 2 of the best rides in this park are both RMCs.
Nice. This is certainly a first for me, crossing a street within a theme park. Now, I know there's some theme park out there that has a roller coaster that crosses the street, and I really want to go there.
Yes, that is Ravine Flyer 2 at Waldameer,
Yes.
which is definitely a destination park in our near future.
We are back on the other side of the park, the less beautiful side, unfortunately. Back on the blacktop, and like, what is this enormous, big, abandoned-looking building?
It originally opened with the park in 1987 and contained the park's very first roller coaster, which was a Schwarzkopf Jetstar 1. Picture Tiger at Indiana Beach.
Oh yeah.
And then that was later removed and replaced with a 4D theater. So when I was growing up here, I escaped Dino Island. I went through Elvira's House of Superstition in this building. But now it has since closed down and is currently being emptied out. But really interesting news is on the horizon because a survey recently went out asking guests what they would like to see placed in this building in the, I believe, 2027 or 2028 season. And the choices were either a spinning wild mouse,
Lame.
a family junior wooden coaster, which I mean would be very cool to have indoors. Can you imagine the acoustics in there?
Yeah.
However, the park literally already has a family wooden junior coaster, Kentucky Flyer, on the other side of the park. But the third and most interesting option would be the world's first RMC Wild Moose.
I vote for that. I vote for that.
Definitely. So how cool would that be to bring back an indoor coaster to replace the original Kentucky Kingdom roller coaster? I can't wait to see it. This Himalaya flat ride is also carried over from the old park days. At least it was definitely here when I came for the first time in 1999 at Six Flags. However, at the time, it did have a roof covering the top of it. Now it's an open air attraction.
We are heading to rub salt in our wounds as we check out the dormant flying fox. Then after that, we're going to do a final ride on Lightning Run and maybe a little cinnamon bread.
Flying Fox is so close, I can almost reach out and touch it, but I can't ride it because it is closed. However, it is a Vekoma suspended family coaster with a completely custom layout that looks fantastic. It's 65 feet tall, 37 miles per hour, 1,380 feet long, with an underground tunnel, an overbank turn right here near the end of the layout, multiple forceful looking helixes, and by the accounts of my friends who did come last weekend and get to ride it, it is generally forceful and really fun. It looks like it's going to be a great addition to Kentucky Kingdom, the exact addition that I feel like they've been needing, and I guess we'll have to come back and ride it again soon.
Judging by how some of the surrounding area is looking, it is just a little bit still under construction. So I guess maybe it's no surprise that it wasn't open for us today. Maybe they tried to get it open for the beginning of the season and then for Hollywood Nights, but...
Oh, 100% they knew that tons of enthusiasts were coming to town, well, coming to the tri-state area for Hollywood Nights last weekend, and they had it open for them. I mean, you can't convince me otherwise. It was a great move on the park's part, for sure. And again, all the enthusiasts who got to, let's call it the soft, ride it during the soft opening, raved about it. So,
if they are working on some of the surrounding theming still, I hope that this blacktop is going to go, honestly, because it's pretty rough and it would be nice to bring it in line with what they've got going on the other side of the street at Discovery Meadows.
100%. With that said, my worry is that a lot of this blacktop we just walked over is freshly poured.
I fear you might be right, but a girl can dream.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right, last ride of the day. Let's see if this baby has warmed up any from this morning. Are you excited?
So excited. I'm actually thinking like this ride is going to decide it for me, but I'm actually thinking that maybe this is my number one in the park over the RMC. Hot take?
Let's see.
Well, I got my answer. Definitely the best ride in the park. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already know how I feel about Storm Chaser, Wind Chaser, whatever it's called now. You know that's a super solid ride, but this I want to pick up and put in my backyard, if I had a backyard. It's just, I just can't believe that such a small ride can pack such a great punch.
Yeah.
I mean, it does so much with its layout.
Yeah, that first drop is just insane.
Yeah, sitting in the back row, it almost feels like Maverick's first drop, which I realize that one is much steeper, but they're similar in size, and Maverick has 3 car trains, this has 5 car trains, and you just really get yanked over it. I mean, that is insane ejector over the top. And we did the method, which again makes those long drops just oh so good. Favorite ride in the park for sure.
Yeah, what a way to finish out the day. Well, I say we're finishing out the day with Lightning Run, but in fact, we are finishing out the day with cinnamon bread.
Woo!
Gosh, it all looks so good.
That looks so good. That looks so good. That looks so good. These look good too, but we're not here for these.
Thank you, you too. So we have got the warm, delicious cinnamon bread. Daniel is putting our traditional icing on top. They have bourbon icing here, which we were hoping to get because Kentucky, duh. But unfortunately they were out, but I'm sure this is still going to be delicious.
Hey, you know what? If I couldn't have my most anticipated attraction of the day in Flying Fox, glad to have my second most anticipated attraction of the day, which is the devouring of this cinnamon bread. All right. Moment of truth. That's heaven.
Okay, so we got dancers out here. All right, I want to hear you clap with us.
In 1999, I walked into this building to process my first ever Six Flags season pass. The nostalgia. All right, that wraps up our day at my original home park. Kieran, your first ever visit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was a really good day. I had a lot of fun here. I think there are hopeful signs for the future here. There's definitely some areas of the park that feel a little tired, a little dated, but I think with what they've been doing across the road in Discovery Meadows, that just speaks volumes for what this park could eventually turn into.
Definitely. It's super positive to see how much Herschend is investing in the park. You can tell with Flying Fox, even though we didn't get to ride it, and Discovery Meadow, that things are really looking up for Kentucky Kingdom. Well, I'm hopeful we'll be back next year, but I'm even more hopeful for what this park is going to look like 5 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. We had a really good day in terms of wait times. We basically walked on everything, which was amazing.
Yes, and for a relatively small park, they have a really great lineup here from the top down. I mean, an RMC, a mini hypercoaster that is amazing, a great drop tower, a nice collection of flats, in my opinion, solid wood coaster. Well, actually, 2 solid wooden roller coasters. This park has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and I think what it shows is that you don't need a lot of height to have really great coasters because of the proximity to the airport. What is it, 100 feet max?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so even with that limitation, they were able to produce some incredible roller coasters here.
Totally agreed. This park's strength lies in its uniqueness and variety of attractions. Other than the wooden roller coasters, you really can't find anything here at Kings Island or Holiday World, which are definitely its top competitors.
True. I think for me, we've always decided, when we've had the option of whether we're going to come here or whether we're going to go to Kings Island, we've always chosen Kings Island. But once they get that new coaster in the box to round out the lineup, I think that this makes it a really strong park. And especially with all the beautification that's going on here, it's becoming a top tier.
100%. And as long as they don't go with the generic spinning wild mouse, please don't do that, Kentucky Kingdom, then yes, agreed. This is going to be a lineup that people really have to travel to experience.
Yeah.
And that section around the former 5D theater is the main section of the park that truly needs some focus when it comes to beautification at the moment.
Yeah.
So all that to say is, this was a super solid day at Kentucky Kingdom. Funny that as soon as we're leaving, the clouds are parting, the blue sky is coming out. But if you all enjoyed following us around Kentucky Kingdom today, please like this video, leave us a comment, we'll definitely respond, subscribe to the channel, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. Does buying this shirt make me a poser?
Yeah.